YouTube right now.
What order are we going?
So no one seems to think that is funny. So
I'll go last then.
I was gonna say I think you should go last anyway because maybe it'll end well.
Am I going or no?
No, you don't gotta go. You're lucky. We have Nathan with us. All right, we're live, baby.
Woo!
So I'll go second. So who's going first? Nathan?
I'll go first. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let me just open a web browser so we can have YouTube up here. All right. Let me hit record. All right, we ready?
We'll find out.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
Bill and Ted meet VOD.
Tenet holds out for theaters.
And no date night to see Mulan, as Mulan no longer has a release date.
yeah, those are all boring.
I told you. I fucking told you.
She did.
She did. It's true. It's a Culture Smash Cast, 532 for July the 23rd, 2020. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Heimbach, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Nathan?
Nathan Savino, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
And Zach.
Zach Martin. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yep.
Not this podcast, just
The
Life.
shit.
pre-show bullshit.
What? Too old for this life.
Too old for life.
And you're the baby.
I'm getting
Right?
Yeah.
too impatient for my Midsommar to ship. Damn it.
Oh man, we'll get to
We'll
that
get
subject.
there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a second.
That's my tagline. Still waiting on that.
So, how's everybody's quarantine life been?
It fucking
Hectic.
sucks. let's just beat around the bush here. It fucking sucks.
He's so mad.
It's boring.
I'm an introvert by nature, so for me, it's fine.
We also
Yeah.
got a puppy, and that is taking up a lot of attention
That probably helps.
and a lot of skin.
I'm an introvert, extrovert, so I go up and down. One day is good, one day sucks, one day is good, back and forth.
That's because you live in a two-story place. So if you were in a one-story, you would just stay at the same place.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I was spending pre-wedding time with like this dumbass up
over here,
Yeah.
we'd be having
And-
a cocktail.
That kept me sane. But now being back from the wedding and now I'm trapped in this cubicle of an apartment and I'm like, ugh.
Well, surely you tested Tuesday, right?
Yes, and I should get the results tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow you
Yeah,
should
it
know.
should. We'll talk about that in 10 days.
I hope you study.
Yeah. Well, they're seeing more and more testing, so it's getting delayed longer.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just got my test back from like a week and a half ago. It's stupid.
So
How often do they test you at work?
Every Monday, and it's like it used to be like 2 days, and now it's like then it became the whole week, and now it's like it's just going more and more and more and more. So it's almost like, what is the point in testing if by 10 days or 12 days, it's like, oh, congratulations, this person was positive that many days ago.
yeah, I don't
And
see
you
how they
realize,
don't.
Oh God.
I don't see how they don't like prioritize essential workers.
Biscuit.
Mm.
It's crazy.
Just because it's like, you sound angry, I'll rub my tail in your face.
Exactly.
Cat booty.
So, did anybody else see the Microsoft game preview today?
Mm-mm.
All,
I saw
no,
that.
all I heard is that
4
there's going to be a
minutes.
new Fables, but that's it.
Yeah, and it looks incredible.
Oh, that's what they say about every Fable. Name a good Fable game.
That's a matter of
Oops.
opinion, sir.
Oops.
You are stepping into like a fandom that will kill you. People love.
Oh, excuse me. What's the name? His creative director is just full of shit.
Well, I don't care about that. I did see they announced 25 games today.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah, they showed 25 games, and I think I can't remember the exact number. It was at least 5, but it may have been closer to 10 of them were console exclusives, which was pretty good. I'm all about the new Halo game. It looks really cool.
You know, I bet the gaming industry is doing pretty well with everybody being pretty quarantined.
Oh,
Well-
the problem so far has just been getting the games to people.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be getting the consoles to people. I mean, getting the games to people now. Like
I mean, there are people
digital
who are
distribution.
still hunting for a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Because in our area, they're just either super hijacked prices or non-existent.
Do you know how hard it was to find a copy of Mario Odyssey?
Yep.
Like a physical copy.
Well, and I also think Nintendo has been cutting back on their physical copies too. Like they're trying to push the digital, but the problem I have with the digital is I don't want to be have to be replacing memory cards all the time.
Well, for me, it's like if I'm paying that much, no, we're getting a physical copy.
I agree. I agree. But we haven't really talked about it as a story because I didn't really feel like there was enough meat on the bone. But Sony has already put an announcement out. They're probably going to be doing a one per household thing, which it's one of those things where you send your mom in to get the second one, I guess. But yeah, that'll be the big thing this fall is seeing who can get a console.
Yeah.
Are we finally past 30 FPS?
Yeah, that was the thing I was looking at. Halo was 60 FPS. It looked beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, and there were a handful of games that they showed that were 4K 120 hertz refresh rate. I mean, really pretty looking games. Of the 25 they showed, I think I'm really into about 5 of them. What is that game everybody likes? Micronauts or something like that? Yeah, so they have a new Micronauts game. And the game looked okay. It's not my style of gameplay, but Jack Black did a song for it, and the song is great. It's his, heavy metal type of thing that he does.
Love Jack Black.
Yeah, so it was cool. I've been talking back and forth with some people, and my feeling was I watched both press conferences, and I felt about the same about the PS5 press conferences. There were 4 or 5 games that looked pretty good to me, so I'm having to have both of them this time. I really want to not miss out on playing Spider-Man. That's really the main reason that I'll probably get a PlayStation, is because I don't want to miss another Spider-Man game. That sucks.
It is so good.
I know.
So good.
I mean,
if you get a PS4, I've got the game. I can loan it.
Yeah, we got the Game of the Year edition, so it has all of the.
Well, if I'm going to buy a console, I'd rather just buy the PS5 and still play it. It's supposed to be backwards compatible, I believe.
Well, I mean, if it does end up being truly backwards compatible, then we still have the game and you can play it.
I really want to. So, I mean, it was cool. I mean, it's not like, I like all the sort of pomp and circumstance of E3. I enjoy it. Some people don't care, but I always had a good time with it. And it was kind of like, it's just watching an hour-long video.
I mean, I enjoy the cringe compilations from E3. Those are always just like the Konami conference from 2010 is a work of beauty.
I mean, last year we got the epic Keanu Reeves appearance on the Microsoft stage that I guess endeared him to the world.
The Cyberpunk game, which also looks really good.
It looks amazing. That's an actual current gen game, I believe. But it's supposed to get like a boost, like a graphics boost with the new console. So it was cool. I mean, I'm not like, oh my god, crazy about either of the consoles at this point. But they both have 4 or 5 games. And Microsoft has promised 100 games by Christmas for their new system, which is a big promise. But
wow,
yeah, that's a huge promise.
So is GTA 5 coming?
They didn't show it. If it is,
that's the joke. Is that it's been released so many times over the course of 7 years.
Yeah, I got kind of burnt out on the franchise, though. I don't really care. So should we move on to the movies?
Yeah,
let's talk about movies.
Nico and I actually watched a movie, what was it, 2 days ago? 3 days ago? Something like that?
Yeah, 2 days ago. We watched Palm Springs on Hulu.
Yeah, what did you guys think of that? It looks like romantic comedy Groundhog Day to me.
I liked it.
That's exactly what it is. It is.
It's entirely romantic comedy Groundhog reversal, kind of.
It's kind of the premise of the thing is essentially, what if the end of Groundhog's Day, but instead of the girl bringing Bill Murray out of the loop, she falls into the loop.
Okay.
And then also it's not in a crappy New England town in winter. It's in Palm Springs. It's a nice deserty, but still, climate's decent. There are pools and all this stuff. So much better weather.
It doesn't start out with the whole, here's him being a crappy person. Like when you the first couple of scenes, you're starting to realize, oh, he's been in the time loop for a very long time already. So it's almost from the get-go from her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun because it takes a different direction than most. Like, they even make reference. It's like, oh yeah, have you ever, let's try being really selfless and the premise of Groundhog Day. Yeah, I tried that, doesn't work. So it's really funny. Plus you got J.K. Simmons. So
I love J.K. Simmons and stuff. That's on Hulu, right? It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
On Netflix, there's a movie called The Old Guard with Charlize Theron. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Yeah,
I've heard good stuff about that.
I have some commentary about The Old Guard that's interesting. Now I gotta watch it because I've heard from a handful of people that it's good, and I love Charlize Theron in action movies. But I did watch the trailer because Hector's been all after me, and we had this whole discussion of what if all the movies went streaming, what would happen? And my prediction was things would start to look cheap. And if you look at the trailer for The Old Guard, you know what? The most expensive looking thing in the movie is Charlize Theron. It looks a little bit lo-fi to me and more TV than movie. I'm still going to watch it.
When you watch the movie, it doesn't look like that. Because I watched the trailer. You told me that, and I watched the trailer, and I was like, no, that's not how it looks.
Well, we're going to see. I'll give you my notes next week because I'm going to watch it because you're like the third or fourth person that said it's really good. So I'm actually going to have to reactivate my stupid Netflix.
Well, you got to watch Disclosure anyway, so.
Yeah, I got to watch Disclosure, and I also, according to Ada, have to watch the Great British Bake Off show.
Yes.
That's up there now.
That show is addicting.
Yeah.
I watched the first 15 minutes to Blade.
Why? Because I brought it up? Yeah.
In that first 15 minutes, when that movie hits, it hits.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't hit, it doesn't know what to do, and it just says shake the camera and cut quickly and loud blaring music.
Yeah, that was the thing that I realized watching again because I haven't seen it in years. Is when you think that came out in 1998, the year before The Matrix, and you think about martial arts scenes.
Oh man.
The Blade martial arts scenes. It looks like there's one time he throws a kick. And the dude reacts for a split second before he actually takes the hit. He's like, "Oh, you're kicking now." But it all works out okay because Wesley Snipes is so over the top. Every time he hits somebody, there has to be a superhero pose at the end, which is hilarious. I still love that movie.
I mean, it's still better than the cracktastic CGI fight scenes in Blade 2.
Yeah, I didn't finish Blade 2 yet, to be honest with you. I started it up. I got 20 minutes into it and had to go do something. And I don't know. I haven't gone back to it. I've watched some other things.
I like the one with Jessica Biel.
Oh, no.
That's
don't tell me you like
That's
that
Trinity?
one.
That's the third one?
Yeah.
Awful.
It's fun.
I'm gonna watch it because I'm committed because they're on HBO Max to finishing the trilogy. I can tell you, I also watched Airplane. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. It's a classic, but it didn't hold up for me. I remember being a little kid watching the reruns of it and stuff on.
Some of the
HBO.
jokes definitely fall way flatter now.
Yeah, well, the problem that I have with it though is it's like there's almost zero plot to it. It's like joke. I mean, it's like back-to-back jokes and wow, are some of them weird looking at them now. I mean, there's a scene where a woman gets a phone call and she says, "Sorry, honey, I gotta go." And it's a horse in the bed with her. Like a live horse is in the bed.
What?
Yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah.
Spoiler, she's cheating on him with the horse because the horse is hung.
Yeah. Now,
that is literally the entire purpose of that.
That's the whole joke?
It is. Pretty much. It's funny when you look at it. I've kind of started writing it. I've got to write a review of it, and when you look at it, it feels very sort of raunchy Marx Brothers. It doesn't even feel of its own time. It feels like the Marx Brothers, like, with the cigar going, we're funny, but it must have really worked when it came out because it was a hit. I respect it though. The "Don't Call Me Shirley" joke is something.
Yeah, I was about to say
today.
that's still a so quotable line.
It is
because it's a clever, well-written line. Whereas a girl being in a bed with a horse is like.
Well, I mean, you're hearing it from me, and you're not seeing it in context too. It's one of those situations where, let's just be really fucking weird for a second, and throw people off.
I mean, my favorite joke in that movie is when she goes, "Does anybody know how to fly a plane?" And then just great big pair of tits walk right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Because everyone's panicking. Because as a kid, it was rated PG.
Yeah.
And it was a PG rated movie with full titties.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
wow.
You take them where you can get them. Oh, okay. And then Nathan's ready to jump into the story. Real quick before he hits his story about the box office.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Number 10 over the weekend was The Painted Bird.
Okay. Real quick about this box office here. Looking at it.
Yeah.
Where did all the old releases go? Because I know they're still out there.
What are you talking about, old releases?
Like last week, it was like, oh, Empire Strikes Back and like all these classic movies.
Because I think they were limited runs. They're not just going to stay at the drive-in indefinitely. I think they were limited runs.
No, I'm saying like, but those drive-ins are still showing older movies. They're just switching them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's none on this list.
I can't tell you. Maybe they didn't make enough money.
That's so weird.
When you look at The Painted Bird, it made $452.
Oof.
The Last Tree is number 9. I'm not even going to bother with the money. I'll just give you the list because I mean some of these until we get to number 8, which is guest artist. That one finally breaks $1,000.
I mean, you can say, "Hey, our film made it into the top 10 box office."
Exactly, and there's a couple in here I actually recognize. The Truth is at number 7. Human Capital is a new release this week. It's at number 6. And it made $4,000 something. Number 5 is Becky, which Zach and I saw.
Oh, yeah. Did we do a review for that?
What do you mean a review?
On a podcast? Did we do a review for that?
I don't know how much we talked about it. We saw it as a double feature with the Hunt. And obviously The Hunt is amazing. But Becky was okay, I guess.
It was fine.
It was okay. Who was the guy's name that was in it? I'm
Kevin
drawing a
James.
blank. Kevin James is in it, playing a villain. The thing that I appreciated most about Becky, though, was it was showing on one screen, and the screen behind us was showing Harry Potter. Meanwhile, in Becky, people are getting their throats ripped out with pulsating blood and like
cutting off eyeballs,
pull it out and cut it off. It's gory as hell. It's really flawed though. And it's
got some severe issues in there in regards to we have these characters, but we don't know what to do with them.
Some kind of mixed acting too. I like the main girl, but I didn't like Kevin James much at all.
I respected him for taking the role, but he really kind of didn't do anything.
So number 4 is The Wretched. I've heard a lot of people talk about this movie. It's a horror movie. People say it's good. I don't know. Number 3 is Followed. Number 2 is Archive, and the number 1 movie over the weekend is Relic, and it made $164,000. Total gross though. Total gross is $812,000. So it's inching its way via drive-in to the $1 million mark. So that's the box office. As it was.
Much like the airplane and box office falling flat, we now have Bill and Ted Face the Music coming to a living room near you.
Wow, this is a stretch.
Yeah.
That was a good try.
You tried, yeah.
I tried. Due to the coronavirus and theaters pushing back their reopenings, Orion Pictures announced that Bill and Ted Face the Music will be coming to video on demand on September 1st. Bill and Ted Face the Music stars Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, once again playing the parts of Willem Bill S. Preston, and Theodore Ted Logan. That's basically the story.
So they also said that if any theater will take it, they can show it whenever they open. Not sure if Regal or AMC would do it, but I mean, I'm sure some theaters, as long as there's no like Blu-ray release out there.
I think
if they did it, it would probably just be very limited.
I think depending on how things happen, I know I didn't even put it in the rundown because I'm kind of tired of the updates on the dates and crap. But AMC has pushed their opening date till August something. So
yeah.
And I don't even see that being accurate.
I think they should just give it up at this point because both companies have put financing together to last through the year. I think they should just wait, open in January.
Yeah.
Or at least wait till I would say December or
Something like that.
November
See how
or
it goes.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
November is going to be a time they want to be open anyway because they make a lot of money during that Thanksgiving weekend. So I can see them wanting to try to make it through then, and that's still several months away. I don't think we're still not going to be through this at all by November.
Oh no, cases are climbing too much right now. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, how just the kids, like 7,572 kids.
And that was just Tennessee, right?
Yeah, just in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But the point is, if they do try to open and you talk about like a 16 cinema theater, they're going to need to put stuff on those screens. So you might see it pop up on one screen, like that small screen in the back of the theater, just so they have something there for people to go see.
Yeah.
And people, and here's the thing, the proof is in the pudding because this Palm Springs, for example, played at the drive-in here at the same time it was going to show on Hulu. So people want to get out and go see something. So it could still work.
Unpopular opinion?
Yes.
I think this was the right move.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion because I'll be honest with you, I think the movie looks like crap.
I think visually it looks cheap. It does not look good.
Well, this is the type of movie I would say you would see go straight to VOD. Not like Tenet. I can understand Tenet. You want that in a theater.
Tenet will never ever go to.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's later. So
I love that Zach doesn't review his script pre-show.
Yeah,
dude, I've been busy today.
He didn't even look at his own stories, let alone everybody else's.
Exactly.
But I mean, small. I mean, I would not mind small, $15 million, $10 million films going to VOD right now.
So when we get to the Tenet story, you're going to see we actually have a name for those, and I'm not even going to get into it till we get to the story, but. I'm not surprised because I don't think, as much as I love Keanu Reeves, I don't think the movie looks like it's going to be like a success.
But I don't think this is the type of movie you're really going to get that many people. You need Die Hard.
It has its fan base, and it's not modern day kids. It's going to be nostalgia. Like this is a nostalgia bait.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a lot of the Jay and Silent Bob reboot or whatever they called it,
and those didn't do well.
It didn't do well, but it also
had a
didn't
one night only thing.
Yeah, it didn't do a full theatrical release. It did the Fathom Events like one night event thing. That makes sense. That would work for this too. Like night in theaters.
Nico and I went to go see it. That was it was definitely for our kind of crowd.
Yeah. I feel like this one would be one that would probably step just outside of that because of the star power of Keanu Reeves. But it would be one only. And it would be only 1,000 screens or something across the country. It wouldn't be like a 3,000 screen, tentpole movie. So, I mean, this is fine with me. I do have an answer. It wasn't a full story worth really putting in here, but I have an answer for Zach about the stupid the X-Men spin-off movie that will never happen.
Damn it! Yeah, I read this.
New
I read
Mutants.
this earlier today. New Mutants. They're like, I'm like, come on, Disney Plus, come here it comes.
Coming soon.
Basically, what the director. So they're having this digital Comic-Con that's happening right now, and there was a panel for the movie, and he said basically it is signed contracts, and that is the thing that a lot of people don't realize is these are guarantees. And it was a signed theatrical guarantee, and that's why it keeps getting bumped.
Did Artemis Fowl not have that?
It did. Well, no, because I think Artemis Fowl was produced and distributed by the same company.
Yeah,
That makes
it's
sense.
a Disney produced, Disney owns the movie. They can do whatever they want with it.
They can do what they want.
That's not quite especially with the crazy kind of stuff that has to happen with the fact that Fox made the film, now Disney owns the film, and all this stuff.
And
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, it's going to be one of those films when you look at it, it has like 16 financiers listed at the beginning.
Oh, question.
Like a Skydance film.
Is New Mutants the one that is where they're trapped in like that
psychiatric unit? Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like a horror movie type silent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And my argument has been that it's too dark for Disney Plus anyway. I think it's a Hulu play, but apparently now we know it's legit. Contracts have been signed, so this movie has to go to theater. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now, does that mean it will get a global release or before American?
I don't think so. I don't think it. I think. Well, I don't think it's. I think the way it sounded, it's a domestic guarantee. So I don't even know how that will work if it even has to have a global release.
See, because when and I'm sure we're going to talk about this a little bit later. If you talk like things globally, since things are allowed to be open over there, if we're going to start seeing stuff come out more than just like the big movies, like other movies coming out.
Yeah, he didn't go into detail about what the specifics were. It was just that it has to have a theatrical release. Now, if it's just generally a number of screens guarantee or something, then maybe they could drop it in Europe or something, give it a theatrical release there, and then go streaming here. That might be something. But I don't know how that's going to work.
I hope they don't do that because I don't want the spoilers.
Yeah, it's a movie. I feel like I have to see this movie in the theater. It's been too much of an epic journey.
I want to, yeah.
Speaking of epic journeys,
bam!
Disney has taken Mulan off the theatrical release calendar amid the ongoing pandemic and a surge in COVID-19 cases across the U.S. The adventure epic, directed by Nikki Caro, has been set to hit on August 21st. However, the vast majority of cinemas in the U.S. remain closed. Mulan had previously been set to open in late March and then was pushed back to July 24th and then pushed back again to August 21st. Now it has no release date. Disney didn't provide further comment regarding Mulan's fate, beyond saying that the live-action adventure epic was being undated. While the company has been a champion of the theatrical experience, it is also investing heavily in its new streaming service, Disney+. Over the last few months, it's become clear that nothing can be set in stone when it comes to how we release films during this global health crisis. And today that means pausing our release plans for Mulan as we assess how we can most effectively bring this film to audiences around the world, said a Disney spokesperson in a statement.
Here, let me translate for you. Disney doesn't give a fuck about the release of this movie in the US. They care about the release of this movie in China.
Yeah. The Mulan news is a blow for theater owners who were counting on playing both that film and Christopher Nolan's Tenet upon reopening. Mulan was among numerous changes made to Disney's release calendar. All currently scheduled Avatar and Star Wars films are being delayed each by a year. And other notable changes, personal history of David Copperfield. It moves 2 weeks back to August 28th. Death on the Nile. Again, 2 weeks to October 23rd. Antlers is now dated for February 19th. Ridley Scott's The Last Duel will now open wide on October 15th of 2021. It was originally scheduled for a limited release on Christmas Day of 2020. And then following that, a January 2021 expansion. And then an untitled Disney live-action film is now scheduled for December 17th, 2021, which was previously held by Avatar 2.
And when they say untitled live-action film, that just makes me think, oh, good, another live-action remake.
Fucking remake.
Yes, yeah. some terribleness. I'm
take
fine
it
with
at
all
this
this.
point, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
I'm good with these moves. I think it's smart. Like I said, I just feel like the theaters need to just give it up till the end of the year, because everybody's going to be moving their big tentpole releases.
Well, and that's the bad thing is like, why would you want to open when you don't have anything big to show? Because that's going to be your money makers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The only reason I can see doing that is if you were opening just a month or maybe 2 months before those come out, so you can get your ducks in a row as far as how you're gonna like protect people.
And you could bank on the idea that people are just have cabin fever. They're grouped up and don't want to get out. They'll get out to see anything. So that will give theaters a chance to stress test how what they do to cope with COVID-19 works and to make them prepared, like Steven said, for the tentpole movies.
But at this point, it just doesn't feel like anything's coming this year.
Yeah, I'm not.
Not
even
at all.
if theaters did do that, it's like we're gonna open up a little bit early with these like legacy movies so that we could stress test. I'm not going to stress test it. It's like, no, I'm not going.
I don't need that stress.
No,
I don't like tests. Is it multiple choice?
You know what? You know what's really funny? This is the thing, and we were talking about theme parks last week. I would never plan a trip to go, but if I was right next to one, which I feel the same about a theater, no one else is going, so it'd be kind of the time to go.
Yeah,
so, I mean, you would go to the movie.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so we would go, and we'd be the only three in there. That'd be fun.
I'm too much of a heroin addict at this point to movies to,
well,
to say
my
no.
friends who work at Disney have told me like, yeah, it's empty, but they also don't have a lot of the activities or normal things they would be doing open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Well, and Disney had to change their rules about masks and stuff this week anyway.
Yeah,
and
hilarious.
They had to change
people
about
were trying to do the loophole of you have
walk
to have a mask
on
while
time.
walking. So
well, and you notice, I noticed that Universal changed their rules too. They already had the no walking and eating thing, but because of these anti-mask protesters that are wearing things that don't actually cover your mouth to try to be, I guess, assholes about it, now Universal says
a mask hole.
Yeah, well, and now Universal says it can't just be a mask; it has to be a 2-ply mask. And
have you seen the people who are doing mesh masks?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's literally just tulle. Or
they'll wear like a catcher's thing, one of those grids on their face. Well, and that's why now Universal saying it has to be a 2-ply mask. Good. So if it's not, then it doesn't count. So as that relates to the story, I would guinea pig test because I don't think anybody else is going to go. So I would do it. I would just be masked up and sanitized out the butt and ready.
Yeah. Would you like a Coke with your popcorn? No, but I'll take that giant bottle of hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, Regal is adding in ordering from their concessions in their app too.
See, you know what's hilarious about that? I love that because when you sent me that message, I thought, okay, well, it's like physical media. We're finally getting a lot of catalog titles we've been waiting on forever because they have nothing else to do. So now Regal has nothing else to do, so they're updating their app. Finally.
Can I say? Yeah. The temptation is going to be so real for me to just order online to get a bucket of popcorn and then head to Steven's house to watch a movie.
Yeah, for sure. I was saying this. I don't
say, Steven, you have a popcorn machine.
Yeah.
Well, if you different.
It is different. That's true. It is different. But I was going to say, we can pop it right here. We just have to have some volunteers to help me clean it. We'll do it.
We are going to do 12 Hours of Terror.
Yeah, we're going to figure something out with that. But yeah, I was surprised why our local art house wasn't doing what a lot of other theaters across the country were doing, where they were having drive-by popcorn. Because I would have done that. I would have done it.
Wow. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah,
been neat.
They're doing it as a fundraiser. You can just drive by and do curbside pickup of buckets of popcorn.
Dude.
I don't know why.
If I were in that part of town, I would do that so much.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, too, it's like they don't have to do it every day. They can say this Saturday from noon to 3 p.m.
Well, and you know what they would do? Because, like, for example, our and a lot of theaters across the country are doing this, but our art house theater once in a while will do an online screening, like IFC films or some of these. We'll do a screening and then pay the money back to Belcourt as a donation. Well, that's the day they should have drive-by popcorn because you can pick up popcorn, go home, and watch whatever the movie is that they're supporting. But they haven't done it. But yeah, I've seen that with a lot of theaters, and I'm a little bit jealous because As much as I don't get the popcorn every time, sometimes you just really want it.
Especially when it's been like 5 months.
Exactly.
I'm afraid to pop the like Orville Redenbacher that we have because I know it'll trigger that craving and I will be just a complete and utter bitch.
I feel like when I was a kid and I had braces and they don't let you eat popcorn when you have braces. So I went like years, like 2-3
That's why
years.
I eat one at a time.
Yeah, Zach literally eats one kernel at a time.
Tina over there with popcorn PMS.
Yep. So I offer Zach popcorn and he takes one. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like sometimes you just smell one.
Once you pop, you just can't stop.
That's true. All right, who's got the next one?
Nicholas.
Speaking of being stuck for 4 or 5 months, theaters began closing 4 or 5 months ago due to the COVID-19 pandemic, in case you didn't know. And after all that time, Warner Brothers has finally decided to also pull Christopher Nolan's Tenet from the release schedule. We do not have a new schedule as of yet. According to Deadline, which broke this story, John Stankey, the CEO of AT&T, which owns Warner Media, producing Tenet, said during a conference call that while some theatrically planned films may go to streaming, not Tenet, quote, is it going to happen with a movie like Tenet or something like Wonder Woman? I'd be very surprised if that would be the case. In fact, I can assure you that with Tenet, that's not going to be the case. So,
I like the specific guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, like Wonder Woman isn't even specific. It's like, I don't think these films, but I can tell you for a fact, Tenet is not.
Well, that's because Christopher Nolan, along with Quentin Tarantino, are highly in favor of one, shooting on film, and then two, the theatrical experience, primarily projecting on film. So, I mean, to suggest that Tenet would just go straight to VOD is to say that, oh, the Hateful Eight, it'll go straight to iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would not.
Quentin would never let that happen.
Say it's going to go straight to VOD, but if they're going to release it internationally, I feel like as entitled as America is, there'd be a stink to put it on.
But you know what? Because Nathan asked me this earlier on social media. Is Christopher Nolan really that powerful? And I would wager outside of Scorsese or Spielberg, he's the most powerful filmmaker in Hollywood.
He's definitely
I would say
three.
yes, he is that powerful.
Yeah.
And also as proven by a much shittier movie, all it takes is a contract. A contract guarantee is all it takes. And I'm sure he got it because he went to the trouble shooting on film. So,
but there's also loopholes to contracts like natural disasters and stuff. So.
Well, with something like
now with Christopher Nolan.
The only thing I don't have a problem with this movie being delayed a year, even a year and a half. It's like, yeah,
sure,
it sucked, but we getting it. The problem I have with this is, all right, I've seen the first 5 minutes and I've seen all trailers. Nathan, what's this movie about?
You're about somebody running an apartment, right?
What's this movie about?
Well, I think you're dragging out your point. It's that they've been
no one knows.
They've done a good job.
A+ job at keeping this movie so hard under wraps that if it's released internationally first, any and all story like beats even what the movie's about, that's going to come out.
If it does, I'm avoiding you, Zach, because you spoil every motherfucking thing.
I don't want.
That's true. That's true, Mr. Game of Thrones.
Don't want.
Yeah, but you may not want that spoiled, but I know you, and I know if it gets released, you're gonna read, you're gonna look up. I already know how you work.
I think you two are making the same point though about like not wanting it to be internationally released in theaters.
I don't think
look it up, but I would see it.
I don't think there's any guarantee that it's going to be. I think a lot of that has been hearsay and debate, and the debate makes sense because Europe is getting theaters back, but
because Europe has its shit together.
Yeah, but
so
the thing
China.
but not necessarily because China tried to open their nightclubs and they had to close them right back down.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any guarantee we're going to have theaters in China, and that's where the money is outside of this country.
Well, the other problem with this movie too is China has, they opened up theaters for a little bit, but they also had a rule which was your movies had to be under 2 hours. This movie's 2 hours and 29 minutes.
Yeah, and that's such a weird rule too. That's like some bogus stuff. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't see it going in international before it goes here. I almost feel like what they want to do here with Tenet more than other things is a day and date release. Put it out everywhere at the same time, so the spoilers aren't a thing.
Man, that would be. I mean, I go to the IMAX.
Yeah, of
I
course you
just
go to
feel
IMAX.
I feel bad for that person that's like, oh, I'm gonna watch Tenet on like my 49-inch TV. It's like, oh.
No. I don't mean put it out everywhere as far as on streaming. I mean as far as
Release it
theaters.
worldwide in
Oh,
theaters.
okay,
everywhere.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Side note, and this
So-
thought just came to my head.
Side note, did you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we going to have like an Oscars or something for this year? I feel like 2020 is
I'm
just.
gonna say no.
I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I say no. Yeah, the only thing they could do is do a special year of Oscars for streaming movies, but I think that's gonna trip and fall in right directly into the butthole of the Emmys. So
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. Now,
What I see them
Bad Boys
doing
for Life
is
and
for
Sonic the Hedgehog wins Best Picture.
yeah, no. What I see
Give
them
it all
to
doing
the
hunt.
is for the next year's for Oscars, they'll include the movies for this year. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Them doing,
I think you're right. I think that's exactly what they'll do.
Ooh,
I agree with you.
which will make it so hard.
it's going to be
Yeah,
such a hodgepodge.
But
Not
not
really.
really, because there haven't been that many movies this
Well,
year.
yeah, but like, I don't know. I just feel like it's going. Well, yeah, if everything's being delayed.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have a handful of things at the end of the year if they actually happen.
Yeah.
In this article, what I liked the guy from AT&T, what he called marginal movies.
In the margins.
Yeah, that is a really good way to look at the movies that could go from theatrical to streaming. Is those movies in the margin? They're not quite, up to par to be in the actual content of the book. Because if one thing comes out of this as far as theatrical releases, if it's sort of better filtering of quality, maybe that's okay. It's just hard to say who's the right person to know.
Dude, I am fine
What's
with
good?
shitty like comedies going straight to Netflix as far as I'm concerned.
Well, see, and I disagree with that because I think comedy and horror, outside of action films, comedy and horror are the movies that do best in theater more than at home.
Yeah, but
Because of that
usually they're
interaction.
not good.
Well, but you're a bad judge of comedy as well.
I will give you that one. I'm
Mhm.
really bad at that. I mean, I'll concede that point, sure.
All right, let's see. Who's got the next
Oh boy.
thing here?
Next is going into TV.
We're going into
All right,
TV.
Newly
Well,
formed video game entertainment and news network VENN, spelled VENN. Unveils its
I don't know.
I've never heard of this.
No, I haven't either.
It's new,
I don't know. I'd need a diagram to decipher it.
right? A Venn diagram.
So it unveils
The joke. That was the joke.
And TV including top digital and TV platforms that will broadcast content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their initial platform partners include Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, which will use the all-new Watch Venn handle. Quote, we're proud to welcome Venn as the first gaming television network to broadcast 24 hours, 7 days a week, 24/7 live on Twitter. So let me get this straight. This is streaming on Twitter?
There's more to it than that.
Okay. Bringing round-the-clock gaming content to our audience for the first time needed the right partner, and Venn's celebration of diverse digital pop culture personalities is a natural fit. Venn was designed to be always on, always accessible to its viewers. This group of partners, which represent the present and future of streaming, are the perfect cross-section to help ensure that global blah, 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 blah. 20 hours of weekly programming will be offered in the first phase, soon moving to 50 hours.
So
I don't see this taking off.
it goes. It eventually is expanding through all the outlets.
Yeah,
Dish
content
Network,
will also be available at Venn.tv, expanding through
Distro
August
TV,
to
Stir,
Distro
Zumo,
TV, Stir,
Vision,
yeah,
Vizio,
SmartCast, yeah.
Yeah, Dish Network.
And
It'll probably be on it.
then
They'll
more
probably have a
partners.
Roku.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more partners are going to be revealed within the coming weeks.
I hate to say this, but when I watch Twitch, there's a lot of flipping because when you watch somebody, you could have literally 5 minutes of a good game, and then it gets boring, and you switch to another person.
Well, and they reference pop culture, like gaming pop culture personalities, that kind of thing. It makes me think of G4 TV. Are they going to do like interview shows and stuff like that too?
Yeah, but the problem with G4 was that they didn't know what it wanted to be, and then, I mean, it sold out. And then the problem with this is the internet is a thing. So
Is it?
it is in fact a thing.
What's the
So
internet?
It's
I
a
don't know
series
if
of
this
tubes.
would, if you're trying to appeal to gamers, this ain't it, Chief.
Did
Yeah.
Ralph wreck it?
I mean, who is this for?
Yeah, that was the thing I was curious about because I'm like, we saw this happen. If they're trying to go G4 TV, except through more of a streaming kind of faster paced situation, I just don't know. You know, I actually liked G4 TV when it was Tech TV.
Yeah.
And maybe something, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of gaming culture I think is douchey. So
Well, yeah.
but it's
Because
purposefully
you have
that
to
way.
have, if it's 59 frames a second, it's literally unplayable. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Zach. Yeah, this
Especially when it's 21 frames a second, it is actually unplayable.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Dead by Daylight on Switch is unplayable.
We play all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
You
It's
don't
great.
know.
It's great. Yes, I'm with you though. I don't actually know who this is for. It's
Yeah, that's the main thing is what is their audience? If it is for like people like me or people who normally watch Twitch or YouTube or gamers, they're not going to tune into this.
and how are they funding it? Because it doesn't sound like they're charging. So
You're going to have ads?
yeah. So if you're going to have ads, you're going to have people that watch 5 minutes at a time. If they're watching a gameplay video or something, how are you going to get people to look at the ads?
Yeah.
I don't understand how it's going to work.
See, that's the thing for me is, I have YouTube Premium and I have a Twitch account to where the people I watch on Twitch, I'll just subscribe monthly using my Prime subscription, so I don't have to see ads.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to watch this and have ads? No.
And I also feel like that whole thing is weird anyway, because I feel like what they're trying to do, Twitch could just take 2 steps to the right and do it. So I don't know why they're even supporting it, to be honest. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah, I see this go in the way of Quibi real quick.
Wow.
I mean, unless you just don't have a computer.
Maybe.
You wanted to stream it on TV and you didn't have an Apple TV and you didn't have a Roku and you didn't have a Fire TV and you only had a Vizio TV.
See, I don't know. The whole thing is weird to me anyway, because I don't care about watching people randos play games. I'll go on there. I'll go on there for 2 things. 1, if you're playing, I'll watch you suck, and that's fun. Or 2, if it's a game I'm curious about playing better, I'll watch it during the speed runs when they do that big speed run event every year.
Oh yeah, AGDQ and SGDQ.
Yeah, I'll watch that because that's kind of fun to see somebody be able to blow through.
Oh yeah, it's like this game took me 18 hours to play. Well, we're gonna do it in 90 minutes. And you're just sitting there slack jawed in awe of like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, that's kind of fun to see. But even then, I have it going on like my phone or the iPad, and I'm watching something else on TV.
Yeah.
So I can kind of go back.
I mean, unless you're heavily invested in that game.
Right. And I'm only heavily invested when Zach's playing and get his ass kicked.
I mean,
and yeah. All right, who's got the next one?
I do. So one thing before I do my story, you didn't give us a chance to say what we've been watching this past week.
That's true.
Sir. And Nico and I have actually watched stuff. Okay.
Oh yeah? What are you guys watching?
I have finished What We Do in the Shadows.
Watching at the beginning of this.
No, that was movies.
That was movies.
Yeah.
I have finished What We Do in the Shadows, and we have
finished
Macmillions. Yeah. We have finished
Macmillions. Yeah.
And we are caught up. Well, I am caught up in I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
What happened to Handmaid's Tale? Did y'all finish that?
No, not yet.
Okay, so actually, I
Stop
haven't.
judging me, Nathan.
That is a very intense show.
They got
And
into
it
a
was-
very deep dark depression. They're like, I'm not going back.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's
me.
This is not the society or time or era of our lives.
It's
to
like they're
watch
not
Handmaid's Tale.
making Black Mirror right now because they're smart enough to know nobody wants to see it.
I
They're
don't
not-
like the 2020 predictions.
they're not making Black Mirror right now because they're locked down, sir. They would be making it right
Okay,
now.
they're not writing it either because they're like, nobody wants to see this, right?
I don't know. Apparently, Taylor Swift writes an album in lockdown
Yeah.
because that's
because-
happening at midnight
man.
tonight.
She's
Yeah, but
crying and
Taylor's-
wiping her tears with her $100 bills.
Yeah, that's not the intense weight of Dark Mirror or Black Mirror or Handmaid's Tale.
But to be
So-
fair, Handmaid's Tale is years old.
It
Yeah.
is, but still, it's heavy.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
But McMillions
Macmillions
McMillions.
is really good.
Of the things that you guys are looking at, documentary series wise, I think McMillions was like incredible.
Yeah,
It was-
that was.
A couple little blurbs where it drug a little, but I was fascinated by that.
Nico got confused with the Jerrys.
Jerry's are confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it made more sense as it got a little bit later. But yeah,
Yeah.
in the beginning when they introduced the concept of the two Jerrys, it was.
And you
But
felt
I was
bad
surprised.
for some of the people. Like
yeah,
you felt bad for what's her name? The woman who was the friend of the mob boss's wife.
yeah.
Mhm.
I
Well, I felt bad for the flight attendant lady too.
Yeah.
her too.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I feel bad for the people who I felt bad for while they got charged. And it's like, yeah, you did this bad thing. They didn't get a lot done. to
Yeah.
them. It's not like they did prison
Yeah.
time or things like that.
Yeah.
So those were fortunate. And I was really surprised with how much McDonald's was in on not on the scam,
The scam.
in on the documentary.
Mhm.
Because I would have thought this would have been McDonald's is closing shop and not saying a word about
Well,
this.
because it
But
made
they were very
McDonald's
open.
look good.
It
Yeah,
does.
I think it was marketing wise the right thing to do.
I agree, but it was a risky right thing to do. I think
Mhm.
I would have imagined that someone like a company that big would be much more risk averse and not want to go on the record. But
Fair enough.
no, it
They
was
usually do
great.
the wrong thing. Yeah, they
And
usually.
dear God, I absolutely could not stand that FBI agent, the
Really,
Matthews.
really.
I
That-
could not stand
Oh.
He was a
him.
blast.
He was a douchebag and
Okay.
a half.
The thing,
We're
the
gonna
thing,
disagree.
yeah, we're gonna disagree on that because the thing I liked about him, okay, bye, is he was always this far from a smirk because he loved doing what he does and catching.
I don't
people.
discredit the passion and like he's good at his job, but
Yeah.
I've known guys like that who are just ick.
Oh, I probably would not get along with him as a
So
person.
like I just
No,
every
yeah.
time he was on
I think that's
screen,
the
wanted
thing.
to
Is
punch
like
him.
as a person, I would not like him. He was entertaining.
He was-
Yeah,
that was
he
it.
was
entertaining.
entertaining.
Yeah,
He was
that was it.
entertaining. But if I met him on the street and he talked to me the way that he talked in the documentary, I'd be like, "Cool, I'm not associating with you." You're
That's
the-
funny because I felt
You're
like
gonna not
him.
like them.
I felt like him and the blonde lady from McDonald's kind of carried that franchise, that
I liked
documentary
her.
series.
I liked her a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah,
And it seemed that the two, I liked her as a person better than him.
yeah.
But the two of them seemed to work really well together in doing what they had to do.
And she was very impressive just by how young and new in the organization she was, and
Mm-hmm.
was able to be a civilian in this FBI sting operation, and it went off without a hitch. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
can they fix the
fascinating.
Ice cream machines.
Right?
That's McMillions too. It's the sequel.
So I'm curious, what do you think about the other movie, the other doc
I'll
series
be
you're
gone
watching?
in the dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight up my alley. Nico will catch like a couple minutes of it. Or
Yeah, I'm not qualified for this one as well as much.
I see your point that you made, I think, last episode, where you know, it's delving more into like a personal life kind of story as well, and takes away from the true crime aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like it's not only telling the true crime story of the Golden State Killer, but I think it's also trying to tell her story of how it's affecting her life. So it's a two-story kind of feel. So I get why they did it.
I mean, I guess I see what you're saying, and then maybe it's the fault of the way it's executed, because it feels like
It is very jumbled together.
and it feels like, oh, put me in the spotlight, even though I say I don't want to be on the spotlight. And
Yeah.
it doesn't feel that way. And then it hits this brick wall of, okay, let's stop talking about the horribleness and talk about, Thanksgiving dinner. And I don't know. I'm fascinated by the story, and I actually am fascinated enough to listen to her podcast, because you can go back and listen to it. Like,
Yeah.
I would be curious to hear how it went as she was doing the research. But I think maybe it's 100% just the way it's executed to not appeal to me. It's a good story, though. I still will recommend it to people, because I had never really heard that story before.
Of the Golden State Killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's one of the, like, of course, me being me, all of the true crime podcasts that I listen to at one point or another will cover the original Night Stalker, usually followed by an episode of Richard Ramirez Night Stalker. So it's one of those things. It was very, like, nobody knew who this guy was. Nobody knew, like, he was still out there. So I had always been fascinated about it. So I was very, very happy when, spoilers, because if you don't watch the news, it's caught.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's straight up my alley.
For sure. And I enjoy, if they're well done, I enjoy them too. Not probably, definitely not to the degree that you do, but if it's a good, well done doc series, I'll watch it.
I mean, you are not a white female of America, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't impact whether I could appreciate it or not, there.
I know, but it's like it's bred into our DNA that we have to love true crime.
No, is it? Is that part of it? Okay.
So what story you got?
So wait a minute. I have to ask you guys about my show that I've been watching this week, because
you're not important.
It shocked me. Okay, so I finally started looking at Killing Eve.
Killing Eve, yes.
So here's what's interesting is I heard from so many people that it's really, really good and all this stuff, but it has Sandra Oh as a lead in it. And I feel like her role on Grey's Anatomy just forced me to never look. And not that I watched Grey's Anatomy really, but the stuff that I did see, I was like, oh my God, this woman is always crying and looking like she's got a shit. I just don't like her acting style. Taking that back right now, because Killing Eve is incredible. Like, it's so different than what I thought it was going to be. So you guys have watched it?
I've seen the first 3 episodes just before I think COVID started. So and it was also before Move and a whole lot of other stuff. So it just got kind of like left on the website.
Oh my gosh.
I want to get back to it. It was really good when I saw it. I am all in it. I mean, it's a British BBC produced show, which is also kind of a turn off to me a lot of times, because there's a production value that I don't like in BBC stuff. It just looks cheap to me. Not this one. This one's good. This is a good show. And I think, who is it, FX, that aired it? It's either AMC or FX, one of those. Yeah, I was thinking it was AMC, but it could be FX.
It might, one of those. Anyway, it's up on Hulu, and I don't want to talk too much about what it is, because I didn't know going in, and I was like, okay, this is really good. And I'm all in it. Like, I'll probably, after we play games or whatever later, I'll probably be watching episodes later. I'm just with it so much. Okay, now you could go.
All right.
Now you go, lady.
Inglourious Bastards and Six Underground star Melanie Laurent, soon also to be seen in Tenet, is to lead the cast of Netflix's O2, a survival thriller marking the return of director Alexandre Aja, who did Crawl and The Hills Have Eyes, to French-language films after a 15-year career in the U.S. production. That's an actual period. After a 15-year career in the U.S., production on the feature has now started. Mathieu Amalric, the French Dispatch, and Malik Zidi from Play will also star in the film, the first notable project from Getaway Films, the production company set up last year by Wild Bunch co-founders Vincent Maraval and Brahim Chua. Together with Noemi Davide, to produce mainly French genre titles for Wild Bunch to sell. Adam Riback and James Engel are executive producing the film for Echo Lake Entertainment. O2 tells the story of a young woman who wakes up in a medical cryo unit. She doesn't remember who she is or how she ended up sequestered in a box no larger than a coffin. As she's running out of oxygen, she must rebuild her memory to find a way out of her nightmare. And Stephen only gave me this story because he knew I would not butcher it nearly as much as any of the other people.
100%. I thought if anybody could get the names, it would be Tina.
So is it going to
that's right.
be in? Is it going to be in English or is it going to be?
I believe
it'll be in French.
Probably going to be in French. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's very interesting. I like the concept of it. It's kind of like being buried alive.
Yeah.
So for a little bit of background on why I even put this in here is, number one, The Hills Have Eyes is one of my favorite Wes Craven films. So
and you really loved Crawl too.
So to say that a remake is fantastic, that's me giving it high praise. And that remake is good. And I did really like Crawl. I have it back here on the shelf. It's not perfect. It has one scene in particular that I don't like, but this guy knows how to do tension and just like horror. And if you really want to see something, watch High Tension. That's the first film I ever saw from him.
Oh, okay. That movie is either love it or hate it. I hate
so
that movie.
I don't like.
I
Crawl.
love that movie up until a point,
like
and
Crawl.
you know the point.
Crawl's great. So I love High Tension till the end. I mean, the end is divisive, but but if you watch it for the high tension that it can build and the quality of the directing.
It's good up until a point, and then anything after that point is awful. And then especially if you think about the film after said point, it is awful. But everything up until that point was great.
So, and if you watch the Hills Have Eyes remake, it has two scenes in particular in that movie that are edgy as hell for a mainstream big release movie. And it was a pretty wide release, but it had
What two scenes are you talking about?
I mean, can I get spoilery? Has everybody seen it?
I mean, The Hills Have Eyes has been around.
The remake?
I haven't seen it, but that's
Zach hasn't seen it, and I just can't believe it because you actually appreciate this director too, I think.
Wait a minute. When did they remake The Hills Have Eyes?
2006.
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah.
You still haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen the original either.
So
I haven't seen the original.
I have a funny story about the remake. We were doing a senior year lock-in for high school, and one of the classrooms was playing The Hills Have Eyes, and the teacher was in there like, I shouldn't be letting you guys watch this.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You turn it off. Everybody in this classroom is going to stab you because we've been wanting to see this movie and our parents won't let us see it.
So what was really funny about the movie when it came out to me, so basically the setup, everybody knows the movie, right? And the setup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're in their RV and the Pluto and the guys come down. And I think part of it too is this was right after Lost. And it has, I forget her name, the blonde Australian girl from Lost is in it. And she gets raped, which I thought was really...
That whole sequence right there was like...
But the scene that everybody talks about is there's a baby in the scene because a woman has just had a baby or whatever. And at one point, Pluto puts a gun to the baby's head, which is kind of a huge deal in mainstream film to do.
Oh, yeah.
But the one that really got me is the woman who had just had the baby. Instead of raping her, what he does is pins her against a wall and sucks out the breast milk.
Yep.
That freaked me the fuck
This is
out.
why we're all very shocked that Zach has not watched this movie.
I was in the theater and he opened up her top and just started going to town. I was like, I was freaked out.
That whole sequence, the Porta-John thing. I mean,
the whole sequence when that RV, like when I see it now, I just bought it on Blu-ray because I didn't have it in my collection for some reason. I just start getting tense when I see them coming down at the RV because that whole 10 minutes or so is like.
It's a fantastic movie.
It is a really solid, good remake. It's more intense than the original.
That should be put in 12 Hours of Terror.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy, he pushes buttons and knows how to do terrifying shit. And going back to French language filmmaking is good to me because I think you'll have a little more freedom.
Yeah.
To do whatever. So I'm excited to see what he comes out with, and I'll struggle through the subtitles for
my
an
only
film.
my only hangups on this is what's Netflix going to greenlight and what's Netflix going to not.
Well, I mean, they've had stuff like.
I mean, I can tell you what Netflix rejected.
What?
Sony at one point tried to sell Holmes and Watson straight to Netflix.
Yeah, but Netflix
said no to that.
That was probably smart.
They learned their lesson after buying that damn Cloverfield movie from Paramount.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you want to see something that even Netflix wouldn't touch, there you go.
Yeah. They learned their lesson after that Cloverfield paradox shit.
Yeah, but the hype was one of the greatest hypes ever for that movie.
That was one of the worst movies I've seen.
Unbelievable.
The hype was incredible. Zach and I watched the last 10 minutes of the Super Bowl because of that.
Refresh.
I wouldn't go so far as say one of the worst movies I've seen, but it was not great.
Which one are we talking about?
Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah.
Oh, the one where she gets like trapped in the wall.
Oh,
yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, it was bad.
It felt like a weird Doctor Who episode that just.
Yeah, the production value wasn't even that good.
It was not. It didn't make any sense to me.
It looked like a sci-fi The Cube.
Except I like The Cube.
No, come on.
I like Cube.
Cube, not The Cube. Cube. I like that. I like Cube.
Cube 2 is a guilty pleasure of mine, even though it's a steaming pile of crap. Cube
it's a steaming
3,
pile of crap, but at least it tried to answer what the first one didn't answer.
Yeah, and at least it tried.
It tried, yeah.
And then Cube 3 was.
I don't know if I've even seen the third one.
Cube 0 is what it's called.
Oh, maybe I did see
it.
It
even answers more questions from the first one. You're just like, I didn't need to know that.
I think what I love about the first one is here's a way to do sci-fi with no monies, and it works pretty good.
Speaking of monies, what can we buy with our monies?
You can buy some stuff with your monies. So Spartacus is out in 4K. I didn't put it, but it's a 4K Steelbook.
I have heard that 4K remaster is like one of the best 4K Blu-rays. But
yeah, I've heard that too.
Fan of Spartacus.
I was going to say I'm not big into that movie. Scoob is out in Blu-ray and 4K. I've heard that is a steaming pile of crap. A Marriage Story is out from Criterion in a digipack. Why did they do a digipack for this movie, by the way?
Why didn't they do a 4K of this movie?
Well, they're not doing 4Ks right now. That's one.
Oh, so I can go on Netflix and watch this in 4K?
You know what? I would almost put the two against each other because I bet they're.
I would love to do that, honestly, with this one.
Because
you can do it.
Yeah, because that compression, I think it's going to balance out the 4K. I honestly do.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see one-to-one comparison.
It would be interesting to see. Yeah. So Castle Rock season 2. I got to go back and watch this show. I hear it's so good.
We watched like one episode of season 2.
1 or 2 episodes of season 2.
Yeah.
Again, that was pre-COVID and.
Season 1 was good. We really liked season 1.
I was liking it. I don't know why I fell off with it for some reason. I just did. I didn't finish season 1, so I need to go back and look at it. I have no excuses. It's not because it was bad or anything. I just fell off with it. And maybe it was like what you guys
what kills me is Castle Rock season 2 has some of my favorite like story ties in because it's basically dealing with misery. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you get the what's her name? Kathy Bates' character from the movie. So that one's out. Ghost is out in a Paramount Presents release. I'll show you here. It's right there. And there's the
you
special.
In danger, girl.
You in danger, girl. There's a little flip out thing. So that is out if you're interested in that. Probably going to swap that baby out. That's not something I like enough to keep. Airplane is out. It's weird. I don't understand the Paramount releases because they're put out Airplane. That's the reason I watched it because I have it here. It's a Paramount Presents like with the cool fold out of the original poster and all that, but they also put it out on a steelbook, which is weird. So You Don't Know Me. That's the Showgirls documentary. I think that's been out in digital for a while, but it's out on Blu-ray now.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's finally
you all watched that, right?
Yeah, I think I remember watching that. I thought we did.
I
have
didn't
not
watch
seen
it yet, but
It's out on Amazon Prime and then it's out on Blu-ray. And then we had Clueless last week. Clueless came out in a regular Blu-ray last week, and this the Steelbook is out this week. So
I want the
it's
Steelbook.
not aged well.
Actually, I watched it. It's still cute. It's still,
It's
a movie
still
of the
for a modern
90s.
generation.
Yeah, it's a movie of the 90s.
Baby Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Baby Paul Rudd. But the release, it's just a reissue. It's a repackage. There's nothing new. So you know how I feel about that. So that is physical media. What do you got in comic books?
Oh wait, hold on. I got another piece of physical media.
Oh, what?
Is it biscuits?
It's something that you haven't. We were supposed to get.
Is it biscuits?
Oh yeah. So yeah, Zach and I both ordered the Midsommar special edition from A24.
Oh yeah.
And then so it got delayed. I guess they're
on their website.
Isn't that the news of the day?
So on their
Mhm.
website, it said that they were going to ship out by the 20th.
Yeah, they were promising by the 20th.
And I have an official word on what the situation is. It's quote, "This item was expected to be shipped out on Monday, but due to the high volume of orders." Well, first off, you had a select amount, otherwise they wouldn't have sold out. So you
Right.
knew, at worst case, we would have to ship out these much. Why did you put a date? It's like you should have said we will start shipping these on the 20th.
Yeah, I don't understand the high volume of orders thing when they had, I don't know, what did they do? 2,000 or 3,000 copies of it, and they sold them all.
They knew how many orders they had.
Yeah, there was no question about, all of a sudden we sold 10,000 of them. No.
We apologize for the delay. We'll let you know with tracking, blah, blah, blah. Please.
Someone not doing their job.
Honestly,
I'm wondering who dropped the ball. Was it production? Was it them getting shipped to A24's offices in New York? Was it something else going on? Do they not
That
have enough
sounds likely,
manpower?
though. That there's just an issue in the supply chain of actually producing the kits to send them out.
Well, then
Well,
they need to send out a message to the people that bought this and not. I mean, because the information I'm getting here is the Blu-ray.com forum.
Mhm.
Everybody's like, "Where is it?" We all ordered it here. A lot of people are rescalping them or, doing that.
Which is rude.
And it's trying to find any information on what the hell is going on is really hard.
Yeah.
And
And
it's not even on their website.
I know that some of the Blu-ray replication houses had closed down because of COVID. As far as my understanding is they're all back open, but they might be on a skeleton crew. And the weird thing about the physical media thing right now is everybody who was cutting back on their releases have ramped them up. Like if you look, Paramount has more coming out now than anybody could have ever thought was going to happen. So maybe they're sharing space with those studios and things got behind.
Well, to Zach's point, don't promise a date if you can't deliver.
No, I agree.
Or at the very least, give more information about here's why it's not happening.
Transparency is the best key.
It is, because honestly, Shout Factory has more leeway in my mind for their Friday the 13th release than A24, because they were initially selling 1,300 of those. They upped it to 7,000, so that might push the ship date. And I would be kind of understanding of that because you sold like a shit ton more than you anticipated. Which, by the way, those are gone too. All 7,000 have sold. So it's kind of cool.
I know one person getting them.
You know two? Two persons.
I know two.
Yeah. All right. So what do we have in the funny books?
All right. This week, Batman number 95, the start of the new Joker War story arc, where Joker has pretty much stolen all of Bruce Wayne's assets, and also Joker knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So that's going to be kind of crazy.
That sounds fun.
Chew number 1, spelled C-H-U, which is a spin-off of Chew, spelled C-H-E-W.
I was about to ask you if it's part of the same franchise. That's cool.
Yeah, it's so Chew, C-H-E-W, is a comic book franchise about this detective who investigates crimes by eating food, and he gets a psychic impression based on things that he eats. Chu, spelled CHU, is actually apparently about his sister. We also have from Marvel Daredevil number 21, which is the start of a new arc where he's back in his classic red suit. And over at Boom Studios, we have a brand new Power Rangers book called Power Rangers Ranger Slayer, which is starring one of the hit comic creation spinoffs.
So doesn't didn't he have to eat like some nasty stuff though, right?
Yeah.
I thought we were getting from FX for a while. There was a TV show that was supposed to happen.
I don't know what happened to that. That's a good question.
Because that would be gory as hell.
And it would make sense for a show. It's a detective series comic book. It's kind of quirky. It would work on television.
Like, I'm not really into the procedurals, but this one's just gross enough that I might have to watch it.
It's not a high-budget superhero book, so it's not like a problem there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool. Well, I would have to see what this spinoff is all about.
Sure.
What is that? What is that? What are you doing, Tina?
I'm not doing nothing. What, the crinkle noise? No, I heard it too. It wasn't me.
I think that was my headphone cable.
See, you blaming the wrong bitch.
That was probably her fault.
I like that you're a woman.
I like that you said wrong bitch, though. That automatically defines the fact there are multiple bitches in this room.
Guilty.
Oh, there's always more.
Well, I mean, we have one in a kennel, so
yeah.
Okay, there you go. I got one outside here, probably shitting in the floor.
I'm not rendering footage.
Speaking of which, we should probably take care of ours.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's
waking up.
Let's wrap this baby up. Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream. If you're watching the video, it is right down here. NIKOSCREAM, and you can find the comics I discussed on Culturesmash.tv.
Tina?
You can find me on Instagram, both Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR. If you're watching live, again, it is right here next to my name. And feel free to follow my beautiful, wonderful, chaotic pupper at the.shadow.pupper.
Who already has more followers than you, right?
Yes.
That's hilarious. Nathan?
Find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. You can find me on Switch, Nate70471, and find me here in my apartment, quarantined.
Nice. Zach?
You can find me. I am on Instagram, Master of the Matrix 91, and you can also find me on Steam and Discord. I am a dangerous mute lunatic, and recently have been playing Killing Floor 2. Which with the friendos, and that's fun. I am close to beating Mario Odyssey, so
hurry up! I'm waiting.
Steven, be excited.
That's right. Well, I want to play the baby game.
You get, I mean, it's for kids.
Yeah, I want to play.
Well, if you want a baby game and you can't have Mario, I really do recommend A Hat in Time. It's also available on Switch.
I'm familiar.
Seriously.
But I actually think we're looking at probably Clubhouse games next. You have to look at that.
Clubhouse game.
Yeah, you have to look that up on Switch. So find me at all things Culturesmash. There was a slight delay. I had some work issues, but Nico's comics list is going up tonight. And I have a couple of articles going up tonight and tomorrow. And also find me Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube, posting stuff about physical media because I love them Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I guess that'll bring us to an end.
All right.
Bye,
Next week.
Oh, these are some basic bitch games.